Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings today. One of the issues that have triggered a lot of rancor in the country, we've seen a lot of people talking about it, had been the issue of federal character principle. Unfortunately, what we are seeing today did not just start. It dated back to the days of Buhari, where we noticed that virtually all the key position in the country was manned by northern Muslim. And when Bola Tinubu came on board, that is exactly the same thing that is happening. The northerners are not happy about it. One of such people is Sheikh Gumi. He's been lambasting, he's been talking. We've also seen different northerners at different times talking about it, and they seems not to be happy with the status quo. But shockingly, one of Nigeria's favorite, I call him favorite senator, who is from the southeast, has joined his voice to talk about how Bola Tinubu is kind of betraying the federal character principle. You get to hear his position as it has to do with the issue of bridging the federal character, giving positions to his kinsmen. We're going to be looking at that in a jiffy. But before we do that, if you're not subscribed, please do well, hit on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. Now, according to the new senator representing Abia South Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator Abaribe, has said President Bola Tinubu has breached the federal character law with his recent appointments. Abaribe said that former President Muhammadu Buhari's kinsmen are finding it difficult to complain over President Bola Tinubu's manner of appointment, which favor his native southwest zone. He stated that Buhari's kinsmen could find it difficult to complain because they enjoy the concentration of appointment in their zone during their time. Abaribe stated that while featuring in a radio program in Umuahia, Abia State Capital, he noted that the federal character law, which stipulates the balancing of appointment among the six geopolitical zones, was observed to be breached by the Buhari's administration. He lamented that Tinubu has taken the same route as the former administration in concentrating over 22 critical positions on his kinsmen in breach of the federal character law. His words, and I quote, he said, "When Buhari started the ethnic concentration of position, I was one of the first people to shout at it. At that time in 2016, it was very clear that Buhari was going a route that nobody had seen in the country or in this country, appointing those from his ethnic divide and religion. But we said that this was setting a wrong precedence for the country. We continually preach against it. He said this would be an ill wind that would not blow Nigeria any good. Now, this is several years later. We have seen where this has collapsed the economy. We have gotten to a situation where the present government of President Bola Tinubu, which we thought was going to repair the damaged psyche of Nigerians, is actually doubling on what Buhari did. The Igbos have a saying that if a bad practice stays long, it becomes a custom. It becomes a culture for Buhari to concentrate appointment in his zone, and now Tinubu has continued it. It is like Tinubu saying, if Buhari could do it, why can't I do it? He is even doing more than Buhari did. Most people who come from Buhari's place are now finding it more difficult to complain because this is what they enjoyed in their own time. Today, the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, has done the same thing. You can count 22 critical positions, all the position in the financial sector, and too many are from his side. Those were the words of the man Abaribe, Senator Abaribe. And this is quite interesting, I must say. Most of us may not be so familiar with that term, federal character principle. But federal character principle was actually born out of the need to ensure evenness in spreading government appointment. The essence was to promote inclusion, representation, a sense of belonging, and a balance in the polity. The underlying philosophy of the federal character principle is providing equality of access in public service, representation to curb dominance by one or a few sections, and the principle was first introduced into the Constitution in 1979 for public offices and federal institutions to reflect Nigeria's various diversities. But shockingly, what we are seeing right now is totally a serious imbalance that is causing a heavy outcry from all the six geopolitical zones. Right now, President Buhari Tinubu is giving much of the concentration when it comes to appointment to the Southwesterners. And I must say that the reason why this is becoming very popular is because Buhari started it. And when Buhari started it, a lot of people dove their calves for him and they were enjoying it, especially those from the northern part of the country. They were really, really enjoying it. But then they never knew that when it comes to the turn of the South, whoever that mans that position, if he was not against it, or if he's learning how to rule, he will certainly abide by that principle. And unfortunately, just like Madam Tinubu said, that he is going to continue from where Buhari stopped. They felt that he was coming to do something different, or possibly was going to align with just a good part of what Buhari did. But the man seems to have copied the style of leadership of Buhari, and right now, many people are crying foul, and that is what we are currently seeing in the country. As much as this is totally against, the federal character principle, we must also understand that this particular act is a pointer to poor governance and pointer to the fact that the man at the top may not be so sure if the people will accept and keep him as the leader. And that's why he must always bring around himself people that he's so sure of cannot betray him because they are from amongst his kindred. And that's exactly what is happening. Because if you're so sure of your policies and you know what you are rolling out for the Nigerian people and you know what you are targeting, the best hands will have been sorted for from all the six geopolitical zones. You work with them and watch how your government will fly. But everybody seems to look at the position of leadership as something that is very personal and it must not be traded. What we saw during the period of Buhari, some people believe that what he was doing was traceable to 1983 when he was hoisted out of office, and he didn't want a repeat of such again to happen. He was kind of scared that if by the time I allow people from different diversities or different ethnic group to take over position, especially in the area of the military and some other key position, DSS and other key position, that they may likely strip him. One day they will just wake up and they will be cool because of possibly poor leadership in the country, which has resulted to Nigerians complaining. So what did we see? Everybody around him, even when they were not performing, he didn't see anything bad with it. He was still keeping them, and it was a kind of a custom that he started, and right now everybody's going with it. Now, what will be the situation like if this continues? It will lead to negative impressions in the heart of other ethnic groups, and if we don't take time, those who have a greater number when it comes to population may want to be keeping the position for the rest of their life because they know if it slips off their hand, they may not have an opportunity of tasting the good things again. So with that, there's bound to be manipulations during the period of elections and during the period of a population census. People will start manipulating things so that at the end of the day, whatever they would do during the period of election will bring so much favor to them. And this is absolutely wrong. As much as Buhari has started this, I think that Bola Tinubu should give consideration to it once again and retrace his step, because it's not good enough for Nigeria. I can assure you that there are very apt hands in the northern part of the country. And if you bring them into governance, you will really enjoy not just in the northern part alone. We also have some people outside the shores of Southwest who are very apt. Look at what the Minister of Finance rolled out. Today we are watching with our eyes wide open. Uh, Dollar flying, our naira every day is depreciating. Why? Because you believe that the young man has what it takes to take care of the country. Today what we are seeing is naira is depreciating every second of the day. How would you claim you want to control naira, and what you did was to take out restriction and increase the number of goods that should have access to FX to 43 or additional 43? And you feel that that was a way of fixing the whole thing? Of course, no. At the long run, it's going to get really, really worse. Imagine just 6 months into power, we've seen serious escalation. Nothing is being produced, nothing is being done to short circuit that sudden shift or sudden increase in the value of dollars. I mean, it's something that we need to really rethink. Federal character principle is one of the best way of keeping a country united. And if we continue on this pathway, who knows what the future will look like? That's what we'd like to leave it. Let's meet in our comment section. You've heard what Abaribe has said. Do you think that this will go an extra mile in frustrating the government?